In the year 897 AD, Rome witnessed one of the strangest trials in history. The accused man could not speak. He could not defend himself. He could not even stand before the court because he had already been dead for months. His corpse was dug from the grave, dressed in papal robes, carried into a church, and seated on a throne. Then, before clergy and officials, the body of a former pope was formally placed on trial. This was not legend. This was not folklore. This was the Cadaver Synod, one of the darkest and most bizarre scandals in medieval church history. To understand why this happened, we have to look at Rome at the end of the 9th century. This was not a stable city. Rome was caught between noble families, foreign rulers, rival factions, and church officials all fighting for influence. The papacy was not only a spiritual office, it was political power. A pope could influence kings. A pope could legitimize emperors. A pope could strengthen one faction and destroy another. Because of this, the papal throne was dangerous. Popes rose quickly. Popes fell quickly. And in this world, political enemies were not always satisfied when a man died. Sometimes they wanted to destroy his memory too. The dead man at the center of the trial was Pope Formosus. Formosus served as pope from 891 to 896 AD. He was experienced, influential, and deeply involved in the political struggles of his age. One of the major conflicts of the time was over who should rule the Holy Roman Empire. Formosus had previously crowned Lambert of Spoleto as co-emperor, but his relationship with the Spoletan faction became deeply strained. Later, he turned against Spoletan influence and supported Arnulf of Carinthia, crowning Arnulf as emperor in 896. That decision made him powerful enemies. The Spoletan faction, which supported Lambert and his family, saw Formosus as a threat to their power. In their eyes, he had backed the wrong ruler, crowned the wrong man, and damaged their claim to political legitimacy. Formosus died in 896 AD, but his enemies were not finished with him. After Formosus died, Boniface VI briefly became pope. His reign lasted only about 2 weeks. Then came Pope Stephen VI. Stephen became pope in 896 AD, only months after Formosus died. He was connected to the Spoletan faction, the same faction that had opposed Formosus and his support for Arnulf of Carinthia. Stephen and the Spoletan faction sought to destroy Formosus's legacy, but Formosus was already dead. That did not stop them. Whether Stephen acted from personal hatred, political pressure, or loyalty to the faction behind him, his goal was clear. Formosus had to be condemned, not just criticized, not just forgotten. Condemned. So Stephen VI ordered something almost unthinkable. He ordered the dead pope's body to be dug up and brought to trial. In January of 897 AD, the trial began. It would become known as the Cadaver Synod. The corpse of Pope Formosus was exhumed after roughly 9 months in the grave. His body was dressed in papal robes and placed on a throne inside a church. A deacon was appointed to speak for him. Stephen VI personally presided over the trial. The scene must have been almost impossible to forget. a dead pope sat on a throne in papal vestments. A living pope stood in judgment over him. Clergy watched as accusations were made against a corpse. Formosus was charged with violating church law by becoming Bishop of Rome after previously serving as bishop of another place. He was accused of perjury. He was accused of seeking the papacy unlawfully. But beneath the legal language was something much simpler: political revenge. The verdict was guilty. Formosus was condemned. His papal acts were declared invalid. His ordinations were annulled. His authority as pope was symbolically destroyed. Then his corpse was punished. The papal vestments were stripped from his body. The fingers he had used in consecration were cut from his right hand. Even in death, Formosus was humiliated. At first, his body was reburied, but later it was exhumed again and thrown into the Tiber River. This was not justice. It was desecration, and many people in Rome understood that. Stephen VI had tried to prove his power. Instead, he shocked Rome. The Cadaver Synod damaged his reputation and exposed the corruption, violence, and instability surrounding the papacy. The trial provoked backlash and deepened political division in Rome. Public anger grew. Stephen's enemies gained strength. Before the year was over, a revolt broke out against him. Stephen VI was removed from office. He was imprisoned. Then, in 897 AD, he was strangled to death in prison. The Pope who had judged a corpse was dead within months of the trial. Later popes reversed the verdict against Formosus. The Cadaver Synod was condemned. Formosus's reputation was partly restored. His body was eventually recovered and treated with greater dignity. But the scandal could not be erased. The Cadaver Synod became one of the most infamous events in church history. It revealed how deeply the papacy had become entangled with political revenge, factional power, and corruption. The trial was never really about a dead man answering for his crimes. It was about controlling his legacy. Formosus was dead, but his decisions still mattered. His enemies feared what he represented, even from the grave. So they dug him up. They dressed him as pope. They placed him on a throne, and they condemned him. More than 11 centuries later, the image remains almost impossible to forget. A corpse in papal robes, a throne inside a church, a living pope raging against the dead. The Cadaver Synod reminds us that history is not always noble, rational, or clean. Sometimes it is grotesque. Sometimes it is absurd. Sometimes it is darker than fiction. If this story was worth remembering, leave a like. Subscribe to Red Horizon Archives for more forgotten histories, strange deaths, and dark chapters from the past. Until next time, the archive remains open.